Hey guys, and welcome to the 7th video of the Blender Quick Tips series. In this video, we're going to be talking about modeling and lighting. Let's get started. Now first of all, I'm going to hit A to select all of these and hit delete. Today we're going to be making a vase. Now there are several ways to do it by different shapes, but I'm going to use a sphere just so I can explain 3 more shortcuts that I missed on the last video. So I'm going to hold shift and hit A, go to mesh and select UV spheres. Now this is a little too much subdivisions for my project. So what I'm going to do is hit the arrow key here where add UV sphere, go to segments and hit 1/8. And divide the segments by 2 and hit 9 for rings. Now let's look at the basic shape of a vase. A vase starts from a circle from the bottom, which goes like round here, and it goes back small here, and it goes outside, again back to circles. It's like 3 circles here. Alright, so moving on, let's go to the edit menu. And the first shortcut I want to explain, go to the edges selection by hitting 2. I'm going to move my cursor to this edge and I'm going to hold Alt and left click to select the loop of edges. Now the first thing we're going to do is right click and mark this as seams. Now seams are used on UV mapping, and let's discuss this on another video, but today we're going to use the seams to make the selection easier. Now that we divided it here, we can go to faces by hitting 3 and move the cursor to this part and hit L. Seams divide faces into different parts. For an example, if I go here and hit L, it's going to select all these faces. Now I'm going to delete this part. I'm going to go back to edges, hold Alt and select all these edges again. And then I'm going to go to the X-axis using the navigation menu. And on the newer version of Blender, when we hit the X-axis here on the navigation menu, we are still on perspective wave. It is not a great idea to model on perspective wave. So I'm going to hit 5 to go to the orthographic wave. And then let's start modeling. Now the first thing I'm going to do is hit E to extrude it and take it to the top here and scale it right to the middle. Now we're going to make the basic shape right here as we talked before. And I'm going to extrude it again. I'm going to scale it here just a little bit or maybe smaller. Now let's extrude, scale and make the top mouth part here. Now the next thing I'm going to do is select all these edges by holding Alt and left mouse button. And I'm going to hit Ctrl B to bevel. And scroll it, subdivide it 4 times. Yeah, 4 times, that'll do. Now to make it even, I'm going to add another edge here. Ctrl R. Now as we talked before, what we want is it to go around like this. Go inside and outside. This part does not seem like it's going inside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this edge loop here by holding Alt and left mouse button. And another tool that we're going to talk about is the proportion tool. Proportion tool actually smoothens the manipulation. For an example, if I scale it, it's going to scale these edges and it's not going to make any changes to the other edges around. So what we can do is hit O to go to proportion editing here. And then when we scale, we're actually smoothing out our manipulation. We can scroll our mouse button to increase and decrease the proportion. Now, one of the main things that we need to keep in our mind when we're modeling are details. Now, if this was a real vase, it will actually fall down if you keep it like this. So what I'm going to do is go down here, hold Alt, left mouse button to select these edges. I'm going to hit G and Z to go down. So it makes a flat surface here. I think the top part can be a little bit smaller. Alright, that'll do. Now let's go back to object mode by hitting tab, and yeah, looks pretty good. Now I'm going to hit 5 to go back to perspective mode and select the model, right click and shade smooth. I'm not going to fill the middle part of it, but if you want to do it, you can go to modifier and solidify. So let's move on to lighting. Now the first thing I want to do before adding a light is taking the model to the surface. I'm going to select the model, go back to orthographic wave by hitting 5 on the numpad, hit G, Z, and take it right to the y-axis. Now I'm going to add a surface before adding lighting, so the vase can actually have a shadow and it's more realistic. So I'm going to hold shift, hit A, and go to mesh and plane. Then I'm going to hit S and scale it right where I need it to be. Let's move on to lighting. Now just like how we added the meshes, we can hold shift, hit A, go to light, and there are 4 lights. Let's talk about these lights on another video. Today, to make the video short, I'm just going to add an area light and I'm going to lift it right to the top of it. And now let's go to the render view by hitting the 4th button here. Now, what an area light does, it scatters lights all over its surface, hence the name. So I'm going to hit the light bulb here, object data properties, and I'm going to increase the size of the area light so it covers all these parts. I'm going to lift it a little bit, put it to the right side, and rotate it right to the object. And I'm going to increase the power to 300. And there we have it, a waist with simple lighting. And we can go to the render properties panel and hit cycles from the render engine. Now there are two render engines on Blender, which is Eevee and Cycles. Eevee is faster to render and Cycles is slower but more accurate to render. Let's talk about this on another video. And there we have it, we modeled a waist and we added a light to it. Thanks for watching, and that's it for today's video. Stick around for the next video where we talk about the 4 lights and how to use them.